All right, here we go again. Time for another day in the shop. Welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you're here. We're making it work. I'm Jimmy, and we are prepping for Friday. Fixing things, having some fun, getting people back on the road. If you're new here, that's what we do. Try to keep the lights on and keep the world moving. The project truck up on the lift here still. We're going to try to work on that thing this weekend. We'll see. Motivation has to be there. The weather has to be a little nice because I'm getting old and tired, and I don't want to work on it when it's 98 degrees out. That's just how I roll. Hope you guys are doing well with your projects and things that are going on with you and where you work and all. That's what I hope for everybody. Beautiful morning, about 71 degrees. Wet and muggy. It's been raining all night. Just standing water everywhere. But other than that, I'm fired up, man. We're gonna have another great day in the shop. I helped Jace get the engine laid in here. It still needs a lot of work to get things bolted in, but the hard part was getting that crooked engine on the two motor mounts and set in place without damaging anything around it. So I think we're in good shape there. I got the Ferrari I started yesterday. I don't know if we'll work on that anymore today or not. I don't think all the parts are here, but they wanted to get the pump off so we could send it to a rebuilder. We're hoping to get that thing done before I go on vacation, which is timing belts, some seals, valve cover gaskets, compressor, power steering pump. There was something else. Maybe that was it. I don't remember, but we got a lot of work to do on it, and we don't have all the parts yet, and there's 2 weeks before I go on vacation, so we'll see what we can do with that. And we'll see what else is going to happen today. I don't know, but I'll do my best to make it interesting and see what we can come up with. No cars in the parking lot either. It's been a little slow, but we've been finding ways to stay busy, not standing around at all. I haven't really filmed some of the weird things like I'd mentioned earlier. You guys let me know in the comments, but I'm not filming whole oil changes, especially like yesterday I did 4 in a row. There's no point in filming 4 oil changes in a row. So if I'm a lube tech, the videos will be shorter. I apologize. We'll do what we can do to come up with some decent content. That's about it. Let's shorten this down in editing. It's really long, and see what we can do to make it work today. Get the shop open up and get started. Stay tuned. Ford Fusion we've been playing with. We're going to do the ambient temp sensor and the connector. That's the only thing I can see. The AC works on and off when the ambient temp sensor stops transmitting temperature data. Turns off the AC. I mean, I don't know if that might be what she's seeing, but I know we can fix that. They got me some parts, top quality standard parts. The sensor looks a little small. Oh, that's a Motorcraft one. That's cool. I hope they got the right sensor. There's an inside ambient sensor and an outside. We need the outside one. The inside one can't affect the air conditioning, but we're dealing with the outside behind the bumper. That's the one the ECM is transmitting data, and there's like 6 modules setting codes saying the ECM's talking gibberish. It's 90 degrees in the car, and it says it's -40 at the bumper, so something's wrong. But we gotta get the bumper off. This thing's been wrecked. The bumper's all tweaked and stuff. We're gonna see what we can do to get it off, get the sensor fixed, and then put it back together in better shape than it came off. Apparently Ford already put a hybrid battery in this trying to fix her problem, but we can't even get it to do her problem. So diagnosing that, it's gonna be hard. Let's fix what we know and hope we'll cover it. We're gonna do this repair. We're gonna verify this repair and then give her the car back and see if it still goes. Again, it's intermittence, boy. It will eat your lunch, and the customers get frustrated. The technicians usually getting lucky to get paid for half of their time, if that, because it's hard to charge somebody hours and hours and hours and you haven't come up with a solution. But the Problem is the mechanic and the shop that you're at didn't break your car. They're trying to figure it out, and the car's not helping. It's kind of like you're trying to feed your kid applesauce and they won't open their mouth. Just make a mess. Same thing. We got like 6 different kinds of fasteners where there should be 1 or 2, but that's all right. We'll see what happens. There is broken plastic and the stuff that's been glued together. I'm almost wondering if it's just a broken wire, but I told them to get those parts in case we take it apart and it's not a broken wire and it's a sensor. When you're driving the car, all of a sudden it starts working and then it stops working. Normally a wire won't do that, I find. They don't heal themselves once they're broken. It's showing full open circuit, minus 40 degrees on the data. And after about 2 or 3 seconds, it changes it to 89 degrees in default and turns the compressor off. And then all of a sudden, boop, it reads accurately and turns it back. We'll see. That's what I'm saying. Apparently this car also has even a model. This thing is a mess. It's a little tedious to watch. You ought to imagine being the one doing it. I see it. You can run, but you can't hide. I hope it didn't break anything. That's actually soft plastic. It didn't hurt it. Relax, relax. Haha. That's junkyard riding on the grill shutter. But that's not what we're after. I think what we're after is up there. You can see it in there. Kind of. Got the connector off. I wonder if I can pop that sensor out of that metal bracket without taking the bumper completely off. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Normally what I do on these wires is I'll give a good tug. If the copper core or copper strands inside are broken, the insulation will just go with very little effort. Just enough to break the plastic. That's all it'll take. If the wire's solid, you give a pretty good tug, it won't go anywhere. And that's the case with this one. So I'm not going to cut their harness. Now that I know I can get to it, just taking these covers off, I'm going to put the sensor in, plug it back in, see how it works. I'll only put the connector on if I still have an issue. It feels like the wires are good. Let's do this. Plug this in. See if I can feed it back up there. Oh, you know what? This thing doesn't seem to want to latch. Okay, we are doing the connector. I can't get it to latch. Maybe that's the problem. Alright, let's do it. Polarity shouldn't matter, but just in case it does, I'm going to keep it going. Green, the flat part of the connector, the green's on the side there. So we'll put this one in the same way, even though they're both green. Strip some wire ends off here. Roughly a 1/4 inch. I'm using butt connectors, weather pack ones that you heat shrink down. They have glue inside them, and they seal the connector. I think they're actually started for marine use, because you can't solder connections in marine use. It causes corrosion and all kinds of things in that atmosphere. So a weather pack butt connector is the best way to do it. Very small, the holes, so don't crimp your fingers. Give it a little tug. Do one at a time. Might be running out of propane, butane, whatever you want to call it. Don't worry, I got more. I got a little butane. We got a little butane lighter refill tool. It has a little nozzle that just plug in the bottom here, and all of a sudden when it's full, you'll see this the vapor coming out. If you connect these properly, in my humble opinion, it's better than soldering. I know, I bring it up once in a while, it's controversial. If you're gonna solder, it's giving me a little bit of a hard time. If you're gonna solder your connections, you have to shrink tube them. Don't just put electrical tape over it, because it unravels and melts. And there is electrical wiring tape that's more of a fabric that works better, but you have to shrink tube it. And then what happens is, okay, I can't do it with the tool on it. What happens is, if you shrink tube it, you have to have room for the shrink tubing to be far enough away it doesn't shrink while you're soldering it. It's like an art form kind of thing. I think the solder, people feel like they're going the extra mile when they use the soldering iron. And like I've said before, if it works for you, do it. I've been getting into solar a bit, and learning quite a lot about solar systems and stuff. And one thing they will do, they'll actually make this guy Will Prowse. He's a young guy, real smart when it comes to solar and electricity. And he talks about heat, and he actually made a video laughing that someone was soldering 2-gauge cables to use in their battery power, their battery bank. And he was literally laughing, going, oh my God, he's gonna start a fire. You never solder connections, because when it gets hot, the solder melts. Especially when you're talking about, 25,000 watt system, or some of them are 48,000 watts. They use 48 volt battery banks, so they'll have 48 kilowatt hours in reserve in a battery, and 8,500 watts of solar on the roof, and gigantic battery cables that connect the battery bank to the inverter control box, and 250 amp up to 500 amp breakers and fuses, called class T fuses. So if you have 250 amps going through a wire, it's going to get hot, and if it's soldered, it's going to melt, and then you're going to have a real big problem. Anyway, enough about that. I think I've beat it to death enough. There it goes. Now it's latched. Now if I can get it in the holes, and we'll be winning. And I know some people are still gonna like soldering or whatever, that's fine. Just, for the application, that's gotta be right. It literally, if you solder those wires on a solar system, it won't pass inspection. So you won't get a permit to use it. That's something to think about. In case you can't see it, there it is. All we gotta do now is put some of these panels back on, try it out. If that didn't fix it, then we got a wiring break somewhere and I'll have to take the bumper off. Pretty mangled. I just want to straighten it out a little bit so the plastic under tray goes on better and all that stuff. I mean, it's basically wiped out. I'm trying to make it less wiped out. It's slow today, so I feel better. It was hanging way down here. Now we go in here, get these two talking, exit. We'll give it a second to find itself. I just turned it on, so we'll get these two talking, clear codes from all the modules, take a look at the data. The AC is already cold, so that's a good sign. Well, I got to charge this 33%. I haven't used it in 4 or 5 days. Trying to give the other scanners some love. I get too many scanners. I should give them to you guys. If you're watching the video at this point and you're interested in a scan tool, send me an email. In the 48 states, unless you want to cover the shipping. I've got a D5S scan tool I've been trying to give away for about a year, and no one ever contacts me back. I've got a couple of jump batteries. I've got a couple of scan tools. I have to do some giveaways. If you guys want to send me some emails at Jimmymakingitwork@yahoo.com. It's in the description below every video. And we'll pick a couple random people to send some things to. And like I said, if you're not in the continental US or 48 states, then if you want to pay the shipping, then we can do that. You can email me a shipping label and I'll send some stuff out to whoever wants it. I'll pick 2 or 3 people from the emails I get. This thing's gonna cook a minute. Oh man, that air is freezing cold now. That's good. We got somewhere, I know that. We're fixing some stuff on this poor car. The hood's ajar. We have the EV gauge up. The batteries are just about down to 20% where it'll force the gas engine on. And then all of a sudden the arrow will go to the top of the little battery picture. There it goes. Bonk. Switch illuminate data from engine module. That's because of the temperature. Ambient temp sensor. Let's clear all these DTCs and take it on a couple more road tests, and we'll see. No error. 78.8, 2.6 volts ambient air temp sensor. The blue line is down at the bottom. That's why you can't see it. The purple and orange are these two. It's working correctly. AC is freezing cold. Alright, we're going to drive this a couple times, come back to it if any more comes of it, see if there's something productive to do today. I know they got an oil change in the Audi for 0.5 if you want to jump up in here and do that one. They take about 45-50 minutes to do correctly, and you got to use the dash to read the oil level, and you got to take a bunch of under trays off to do the oil change and stuff. But that's a higher end Audi too. That's a big one. Never really cared for those things. You guys tell me what you think. Audi, are they attractive looking cars? To me, they all look the same. They all have the same shaped headlights. Just they get bigger and smaller, except for the little TT. That one looks almost like a Volkswagen Bug. Since it's the same company, I guess it makes sense. I ain't trying to brag when we get a brake job. Apparently I recommended rear brakes on this a little while back, so he's gonna come back for the rear brakes. It's a 2019 Chevy Malibu. Got a little Rust-Oleum treatment on the door going, but that's all right. It looks good from a distance. It's also missing a couple lug nuts. I hope I wrote that down. I wrote it down on today's inspection report. I know that much. The threads look a little rusty, but we'll get the wheel off. We're gonna do brakes anyway, and we'll see what kind of condition the threads are in. Maybe we can just clean them up, put two more nuts on there. You gotta have all your nuts. Well, look at that. This has got old school cable calipers. I don't think they've come into the 21st century yet.
I will. I got you covered.
Customer just pulled up, parked in the middle of the parking lot. I need an oil change right away. Well, you have to go up front and see if you can get an oil change right away. I'm not in charge of that. Oh my goodness, people are awesome. You didn't see all the yellow lines out in the parking lot? That's what I should have said to him, but I'm too nice for that. It doesn't fix anything if you don't correct it, right? I should have said, put your car in a parking space and then go inside to see about an oil change. That's what I'll do on the next one. Thanks for straightening me out. Should be a right-hand tool. There's a left hand and a right hand. Most of them are right hand, but every once in a while they'll have a reverse thread on one side. If it doesn't go, try the other direction. That's the motto. Sometimes it'll be labeled on the caliper too, right hand or left hand thread. But gotta wind this piston back, Manueli. I guess we couldn't do his oil change fast enough. It is what it is. I thought I was going to get it because they just came over. Is this customer waiting, or is he dropped? Is he waiting? Can you do another one? I said, man, I can do whatever you want. That Ferrari can wait forever. Don't worry about it. Bless you. He's savage. Goes untight. Yeah. Oh. Got to get that loose in. That's all. Need a 7/8 wrench. Want that straight up and down. Now, if you only look at the outside pad, you may say to yourself, well, that doesn't really need brakes yet. But then when you look at the inside pad, you see the squealers touching. And it definitely needs brakes. A little bit of uneven pad wear. You got to be careful doing brake inspections, so look at all the brake pads when you can. It's hard to justify taking wheels off when you usually are doing a free brake inspection. So I usually use a mirror and peek inside the wheel and look at all the brake pads. The last thing you want to do is look at that and say it's okay, and have the squealer touching on the way home. This one's hidden inside the knuckle, so you've got to be really resourceful. And try not to get your knuckles on this arm. It's designed to skin mechanics' knuckles. I don't think they do it on purpose. It's a completely accidental. That's it. It's completely accidental that stuff is like that. I mean, they got giant spacers cast into the knuckle. So So they could have put that anywhere. I don't know. That's fine, guys. If you guys want to do it that way, that's fine. Don't worry about me. I'll be all right. Let me get this from the other side. Oh, the shock traps to ratchet that way. That's cool. A simple brake job. What's going on, man? What are you guys doing? What are you clowns doing? Huh? Nope, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna get an 18 and a caveman ratchet. Let's see if we can get it out that way. Look at that. Look at that. It's some cool studio effects. Some professional videography. Guys are either too stupid to think this stuff through or so smart they've done this on purpose. Those are the only two options. You figure out which one is how it happened. But I point it out every time because I see it way too much. I'm growing weary. Let's put it that way. Sure. They got an emergency waiting oil change or something for me to do, so these are the wrong parts they got me too, so they're not gonna work. I could use the old hardware, but the brake pads are gonna be wrong too. That means they're just a hair bigger. I guess there must be two possibilities. You know what time it is. I'm missing a bolt. It was missing before, I guess. Found one in my toolbox. All the tires are low. They haven't been checked in a while. 4.2 quarts of dinosaur blood. Should be a little bit overflow. Right about there. I'm gonna take it. One emergency looby-dooby done. I found two nuts. They're not exactly the same, but they're way closer than what it came in with. So, and they're free, so that's perfect. So now I got my 12 by 1.5 thread chaser. I'm gonna chase these threads. I'm gonna do all of them. They all got rust like they had no nut on them at some point. But I don't see any damage to the threads. I just, if you just throw the new nuts on those rusty threads, it's not going to end well. I'm going to try to do this dry. I don't like to grease studs if I can avoid it. Just the tiniest little bit. If you really doubt that whether the threads are going to gall or not, then you end up over tightening the wheel and stuff because it actually makes it easier to see. It has a manual handbrake? Yeah. Alright, cool. Thank you, sir. Threads are in really good shape. Just surface rust. Kind of weird. Why you'd be driving around without two nuts? They're like $4 a piece at the auto parts store. I know I wouldn't feel right doing that, but some people just don't think it matters. Oh, I got 3 nuts on there, that's fine. Well, look how many it came with, though. We'll get it straightened out, don't you worry about it. I'm sure every time I go to the doctor when I leave, he's going, that guy still keeps drinking alcohol and eating French fries. I keep telling him. Same thing, kind of. My dad used to say when I was younger, someday all the health nuts are going to be in the hospital dying from nothing. I think like a lot of things, moderation. If you know something's bad for you, don't do it very often. Especially if it's fun and you want to do it a lot. There's 2 holes for holding screws. I got to clean the hub up still a little bit, but make sure this is right. Only 1 holding screw lines up. That's fine. It's really clean where the rotor rides, but I'm gonna make it even cleaner. Someone please set the alignment rack down so the alarm stops. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but I guess it just doesn't bother some people when it's just going beep, 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 and it's been like half an hour, so I got about a 20-minute threshold for it. We got hardware, we got brake pads. These have just there's an indent here too, and to let you know they're different. I'm guessing one supplier makes one set of calipers and pads and one makes the other. This is manual parking brake. If it's electric parking brake, it takes the one with the wider ear. So I've been told. I don't know if Jose got picked up on camera earlier when he said that. That's the case. So we got the right stuff now. That's the bottom line. I'm not sure why that slight of a difference there would be, but it has to be something about different suppliers, something. But I mean, does a manual parking brake pad need a slightly wider tab there? What would be the point of that? I don't understand, but like a lot of things, almost, I shouldn't even say a lot, it's everything. Everything just seems like, well, you're just like, you ever see like when you try to talk to your puppy or dog and they kind of go, huh? So almost everything you do nowadays when it comes to auto repair. Some of you that are in other industries and just watch my channel for entertainment purposes, let me know if you're experiencing the same thing in your industry. I knew my HVAC guy last time he was at the house replacing my AC unit for $9,000, said that, oh yeah, they're not as reliable as they used to be. You'll have to buy one every 5 years now. They used to last 15 or 20 years. They're making them last less time and doubled the price so that they can make more money. Makes sense. What are you going to do? Just go without AC? Same thing the automakers are all doing. It used to be service and reputation and making money all went together, but now they could give a crap about their reputation or how you feel or company image. All they want, profit. Seems that way. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little grumpy. Maybe I need a nice weekend. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm imagining the whole thing. And when I wake up in the morning, everything's gonna be fine. I'll feel right as rain. But I doubt it, maybe. Cut it. Don't worry, we got a manual ratchet for that. Click. Click. These pads go in nice and easy. Some cars, you know, you got to fight with 17 springs and tabs and special clips. Not on these. I've already lubricated my caliper contact points, lubricated my slides, lubricated my hardware, lubricated all the stuff you're not supposed to. And I'm even going to put the bolts back in. What do you think about that? I feel better. How about you? I get this too for that. Just to make sure. I don't like the angle it swivels on. Try to get in here, but just throw our shiny new nuts on there, take this thing for a drive, and seat these brake pads. We might even get on the fuel gauge sender problem in the Ferrari today. We'll see. I don't know why they got 4 screws that you need a flathead and 4 10mm to get this off to change the oil. I'm not sure why they got a variety. I'm also not sure why they have this on there. See, it bolts down onto this aluminum cross member from the top. They literally made this little wing thing. I guess it must go in here to have steel on that for something, like in a crash. It's on both sides. Maybe it's Formula 1 aerodynamic trickery. This is also a cool bolt. You're gonna need new sockets if you don't have them yet when you have to work on a Honda CR-V Hybrid 2023. I think we're doing a cabin filter on it as well. Man, there's some stanky, funky stuff going on in here, man. It doesn't smell like the typical Mary Jane glaucoma treatment. It's got a little bite to it. It's really, really odd. Maybe some of you experts, you Mary Jane experts, can explain what that stink is. It's unique. It's definitely what it is, but it's some... I'm used to Gainesville green or whatever it is, but this is unusual. Hey man, I'm not sure what the dealio is, but if your car smells like that stuff, it means you're doing it while you're driving. So, I mean, to each their own, but I don't support drinking and driving. I don't support smoking and driving either. So, let's try to behave like adults the best we can. I know it's hard. But look how nasty that thing is. Just like the picture. Look at this. I can simulate the picture. Matter of fact, I might have to make a short about it. Gotta pop this little leg off of there. And then there's a hook and a hook, and it just pops out of 2 quick little hinges. Super easy to do. I'm gonna leave the doors and windows open a minute. Oh, I think the battery died. Yeah, battery's dead. Well, I was going to show you the gas gauge up. What I've done is turn the key off so I can charge it a bit. I already did. I back probed into the 7. There was 7 volts on this pin, so I assumed that was the gauge. Back probed, engine ground, test light. Test light's 0.85 ohms, so I've got my test light jumped to ground so that this isn't shorted. There's resistance, so it should work the gauge, and the gauge was working its way up 1 line at a time, and now the battery went dead. So that's cool. See, it's 0.253 volts right now. If I take my test light off, 7 volts. So I must have knocked the float arm off or something, or just sending unit's defective, one or the other. I gotta take it back out and put the charger on the battery. And that was probably the most irritating part of working on this car to date, was doing that fuel pump. And now we gotta do it again, so that's cool. But the door handle broke again too, so we got parts coming for that. I got all my fuel lines out of there. Fuel line, you already obviously had the electrical plug. Solenoids are loose so you can get in there a little better without them in your way so much. You're still in your way. The only way to really have nothing in your way is take the gas tank out of the car, which I'm not so sure you can do that without some major surgery. But this ring's got to come off of here. I wish I could get these out of the way better. They got those permanent clamps on the back side, otherwise you could swing them out of your way. But probably can do that a little bit. Pull these electrical connectors off of them, maybe that'll help a little. The bright blue connector goes on the back one. Now, gently, might not look gentle, but you want to hit it firmly but gently. I might have to get my dead blow. The old sledge is bouncing too much. There's a little spring tension on that, by the way. Super cool. Get all these bolts out of here. Might be able to see what's going on. There's a lot of them. 8mm bolts. The problem is, there's probably, I mean literally there's, you can see 8 right on the, from the fuel pump hole forward is 8. There's at least 16. And there's like 3 or 4 of them in that back corner on the other side of the fuel pump. And you can't get the fuel pump out of your way to get all the bolts out, so that that plate will let you shift it over. And this is how the arm might have gotten damaged or came off going in, because there's just no room in there to do it. Maybe we'll take the body off the car, I don't know. Let's get a power tool, get some of them screws out of there. When you get to the harder ones, I might even do the harder ones first while it's held down well. I also need to get me to get the O-ring. Last time I put it back together with the old O-ring, and it's not good. So we need to get that O-ring if it's available. I'm not sure. I know these aren't available. I just watched the video saying, do not break it, can't get them. They don't make them anymore. And a guy ordered one from Ferrari and it was a 1/2 inch larger in diameter and didn't work, even though it was the same part number. So that's the tricky part about these Ferraris, boy. Alright, let's get a power tool. I got my piece of wood in here. I peeled the rubber gasket off of the sending unit so it's not in between the aluminum and the plastic housing. Getting these bolts out one at a time. I think there's 2 more right back here. Trying to make sure I keep on my aluminum washers. These little tiny flat washers. Actually, I can't even see the bolt, neither can you, but I definitely can't see it either. So I'm going to put this back there and see if I can feel the bolt. Nope, it's right there. It's like straight back. Oh, there's the washer. I really want that washer. I don't think these are going to be easy to find. This is a magnetic socket too, so they don't fall as easy. doesn't help with the washer, but it holds the bolt. Can't get it on there. I gotta get I'm gonna have to get back there with a little ratchet. I think that's what I did last time. Got a little ratchet that I could fit back there with my hand. All the other bolts come out in about 5 minutes, and those last 3 will take about a half hour, 45 minutes. Just those 3 bolts. Now, it's the only bolt you need an extension for. The hardest one to get to needs an extension, which is kind of odd. Get your washer. And I just happen to have that block of wood. I didn't make it. I had it. Just coincidentally the right length about. Float's still on there, huh? Wasn't expecting that. Wow. This is absolutely ridiculous, by the way. Float is hooked on a gas tank, still attached, but doesn't work. So now I got to diagnose it, but once I get it out of the car, I should be able to do that fairly easily, I think. Oh, goodness gracious. I expected the arm to not be attached. But it is. Okay. Very interesting. Now, I hope you can see all that. I'm going to go into the 2 pins from the fuel sender. There's 2 small wires and 2 large wires. If I go into the 2 small pins, I got about 300 ohms. And if I lift this pump arm, interesting, seems to be working. You would think that if I had this caught, that it would have been up. However, maybe is it possible that it could have been caught and pinned all the way down? It seems to be working out of the car, and it seems to work when you mess with the fuel sender signal yourself, it works. And out of the car it works. This arm had to be caught somewhere. If it was caught on full, it would be full. It would have read full, right? It was reading no gas. I don't see how I could possibly have gotten this in the tank and had this all the way down and not like in the middle or halfway. It's hard to hold a little. I'm using a pin. I probably should get a little alligator clip. So it's 300 ohms empty and 3.5 ohms full and working. Was not expecting that. I wonder if it's pin fit. Could it be pin fit right here between the gauge and the connector? Connectors aren't available, by the way. Maybe we have to do a little try to find a better way to get this fuel pump assembly in there without impinging that arm or float arm in any way. I'm just baffled how you can get it in this hole and have it not, if it read full all the time or half all the time, and didn't work, I could say, okay, I got it in there wrong. I don't know. One of you Ferrari guys chime in, let me know. Let's fire up the Kaiweets borescope camera. Forget what model number this is. They sent it to me to do a review on. I haven't gotten it done yet. I just haven't needed to use one. It seems a little, I don't know. Camera's pretty good quality. The wheel's kind of strange, but it kind of locks in place. I guess that's why it feels that way. But I mean, you really got to tweak on that thing. The image quality is good. That's what really matters, right? Let's, this is called articulating, by the way. There's you guys. Let's put you over here. There you go. See yourself? Smile, you're on candid camera. I keep waiting to hear that, but no one says it. Let's put this over here. There's no steel on this car, so there's no magnetism. So I gotta balance the camera precariously on the suspension. I wanna see what it looks like as far as getting the float in here, right? That's where the float's gotta go to, I suppose. There's a little sediment on the bottom of the tank, but I don't have a way to get that out of there. It's got half a tank of fuel right now. Oh, that's the front. Here's the back. Oh, see this channel? Oh, I don't know that I ever got it in that. So you have to put the float into that cavity at the top and then slide it down. Hope that shows up on camera, but I don't know if I got it in there. If I did, it was completely by mistake. I would assume the arm would have been stuck in the up position. All right, all we can do is try again, but I'm gonna have them try to get me this O-ring, oval shaped O-ring that goes on the top of the tank. That's the part number for that thing if you're interested. KBA02, Kaiweets. They support the channel. I get some tools and stuff to try out and all for them. Most of them are pretty good. I've only had a couple of problems here and there, but nothing that I couldn't sort out. Usually it was user error, trying to figure out something new. But my thermal imaging Kaiweets camera gets a little wonky sometimes, but that was, you probably remember those videos. It was acting weird for a day or two. It hasn't done it since, so glitch in the matrix maybe. If you're really sneaky on these Ferraris, when the battery goes dead, you can hook the battery charger to the alternator, because that's how the alternator charges the battery, right? We are buttoning it down, batting down the hatches. It's the weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Whew. Hope you guys have a great weekend too. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Maybe you'll torque the like button before you head out. Cruise around the Amazon store and drop a couple grand if you so choose. More than anything, I hope I see you in another video, because you're awesome.